And then of course, guys like me that love them. And so we wrote the song called Amazing Grace. Listen to it on my East Meets West album. Amazing Grace, that's what I call that. But the TV, the web series that I'm I've been proposing this past decade, a year, is to showcase all these beautiful Miss Philippines USA, all these beautiful the thing headed by Mildred Dang, the Binibining Filipinas, now called Miss Filipinas International. I mean, we want to show that to the rest of the nationwide. And so, but to get that going, you know, we need, steady budget to present these stories based in historic Filipino town, and that was MRD 009. And then MRD 008, the guys, the 8 guys, the early 8 Pinoys, I call the elder men of value. All right, but as a storyteller, my focus is telling the stories like when I was in kindergarten. I mean, when I was elementary in Mountain View, California, when I was in junior high school, Graham, in Mountain View, California, and when I was high school in Mountain View, California. I grew up in the Santa Clara County, Silicon Valley County, and I interacted with European Americans and Afro American Americans, and of course Asian Americans. And so storytelling about our American life is important, but to get to introduce all the Hollywood actors or performers there and the models, there has to be a platform, which those two that I set up, has to occur. That way, when people start watching these web series online, they get familiar with who are the movers and shakers in LA. The beautiful young models in Binibining Filipinas, or what you call the Miss Philippines USA, and then the elder men of value, the older Pinoy actors that have been there for a long time, like Manong Abe Pagtama, and then of course the squad stout actors like Ernie Reyes Jr. Where is he? And there are so many talented Pinoys, but the problem really is there's no steady show to keep showing them. Like these soap opera TV shows, like the daytime soaps, like All My Children, One Life to Live, Days of Our Lives. That's my intent for these 2 web series called Did I Do You Wrong and Filipino Girl. MRD 008 and MRD 009. MRD is media requirement description. As a project manager or showrunners, these are kind of things you got to know. Project management's just the way, if you work in the corporate America in Silicon Valley, you have to be able to manage your project. You create a Microsoft project file, or what do you call it, and just set up all your tasks, your milestones, and of course you set up your employees, your writers, and then of course the final product, which is the QA of the edited webisode. Anyways, we've gone a little over time here. I think it's important. Maybe this is gonna be today. Today might be an hour show. I try to limit it because I'm gonna post this back online on YouTube. But Facebook Live, we got Philip Camaro, Richard Biss, Ram, most of my Camaro. Again, Did I Do You Wrong? MRD 008 is about the Camaro clan in LA, the Camaros in Los Angeles, California. Because the history of the beginning of Los Angeles, the creators, they came from Mission San Gabriel. back in the Alta California days when the Mexican Empire was huge. The Mexican Empire included Philippines and Mexico as one country. And so the Camaros in Los Angeles were there in Los Angeles. So a lot of you, the Camaros, are I think my storytelling of LA, the beginning of LA, and the life of the Camaro clan, you know, whether it be good, bad, and ugly, it needs to be told in the life of Los Angeles, or the United States life. And Los Angeles today is one of the pioneering movers and shakers, you know, the brilliant minds, the creative minds in LA, you know, the tinsel town. But the Screen Actors Guild Awards and the Oscars, we're excluded. You know, the brown men, the yellow brown men in Los Angeles. And so the Camaro story, you know, it's fact, but I have to kind of like dramatize it and improve it, in which I've been writing, and so that's still my focus for 2018. But yeah, I have a Facebook page called, you know, on my first album, and I was talking about, you know, past our heritage stories, and I'm talking about the Lemurian kingdom, and you know, the style of playing a slacky guitar. Slacky is an invented technique by the Hawaiians and the Filipinos, you know, the Lemurian kingdom. The kingdom way before, you know, during the Pangea time, way before the Atlantis theory, you know, before the, what do you call it, Lemuria kingdom, you know, where Hawaii, you know, the Magi's, you know, the, what you call the Matthew chapter 2 story of these wise men at the stars, following the star, and where God downloads himself into a virgin woman. You know, people understand what download is now because they have smartphones and apps, so they know what download is. But still, there's still a lot of people that don't have smartphones that still don't understand the theory of download. But in Matthew chapter 2, when the story, Luke, the book of Luke also, they talk about, you know, Mary having the baby Jesus when she was a virgin. And so the download, according to John 1, chapter 1, and the word became flesh, is that download that what I'm referring to as the analogy of the Spirit of God downloaded into a child born by a virgin. So, I mean, so that's just all these kind of things that we face in the American life. But call me altruistic, but my idea is to create an infrastructure, formulate a LLC California or LLC Nevada, and make a business out of this, and hopefully it becomes profitable. The other way is to make it a nonprofit and get some funding or investors or donations from filthy rich Asian Americans, because there are tons of filthy rich Asian Americans out there, but they refuse to invest on their own self for their own children's future. And so we are absent in these award shows, not by discriminations of the European and Afro-American producers, but the lack of their own communities' support. Most Asians want their children to be lawyers, doctors, you know, accountants, instead of storytellers, you know. So that is the problem in the Filipino American community and other Asian American community and other Native American community. People are don't understand this business model. Could be very, very is equal as the realtors or people that sell property, you know, The business model of content creation is about intellectual property. The perfect example is Walt Disney. Walt Disney created this animated mouse, which was his bread and butter. And now, Disney is like the leader of content. Now, all we're trying to do is put our stories, but to get there, somebody in our community has to be a Walt Disney. We were hoping Dean Devlin was that guy, but he's half white. And Dean Devlin is electric company. He's created or helped create what you call the Independence Day. He still does some stories about the Stockton Filipinos and documentaries for PBS, which is good. That makes the rest of the country understand, who we are. But he doesn't know about the stories of Luzon Indios, Alta California. There's a lot of I don't know if they know these things or maybe not, but they have not produced any parallel that would showcase our community in America, the United States of America. All right, so you've heard my spiel about trying to convince people in Manila to have the Manila actors have a dialogue in the American English, cut out the Tagalog in a TV show or a movie, and use those finished films and bring them to America, import them like the way foods are imported in Seafood City, all these Asian stores where anchovies are sold. All I'm saying is we are challenged in the United States to be inclusive, to be part. Because I have lots of nieces and nephews and grandniece and grandnephews that are growing up in the United States, and yeah, they're part white or part black, but still, if we don't tell our stories like in the 1920s with Carlos Bulosan, if we don't influence the high school kids and respect our race, and so those other high school kids of Euro and Afro and other cultures will respect and understand, and not racially look at them as, oh, they're Chinese, they're FOBs, fresh off the boat, like that ABC show. No, we have to tell it on our own merit. And I gave the address on my web series projects, those secret Facebook group members. Please donate. I can't be an altruistic, do everything. It takes time longer for me, because I gotta accumulate the budget, gotta go to work full time somewhere, and then take off, and move on to get the writing going. And then when it's done, I need a budget to go get the budget. It would be cool when I get someone to donate. That says, hey, here's $3 million. Do what you want with it. At least give me a how are you gonna spend it? Accounting. But here's $3 million. Imagine if somebody in our community, Asian American or Native American, all these rich gambling houses and all these rich Asian businesses like Panda Express. Well, anyways, people are so, I think in the Asian community or Native community, everybody's a tightwad, stingy, kuripot. But I don't know, man. All I'm just saying is we have to help our children, the future of our children, take part and be lead roles, and maybe someday they become a president of this country and replace bad presidents of the past. Like the 45th I believe when equality is truly visualized in film and stories and educate the rest of the United States, and we achieve heaven on earth according to Matthew chapter 6, thy kingdom come, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We will have a better future for our children. And this high school violence that occurred in Kentucky, oh man, that's what I've been trying to, that's what I work for. Or, because I enjoyed the life in America, but there are kind of like situations where there were a dangerous life that even if you're so rich, you will cross a path of dangerous people because these dangerous people were never informed about you. I mean, I'm sure you guys read about lynching back in the 50s and 60s where they lynched black people in the United States, because they racially, what do you call it? But now more and more Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey movies are being produced. So the American people are now educated about the black community in the United States. So imagine that if I succeed, I become a Tyler Perry or Oprah Winfrey in telling the stories. Imagine that. But I'm not out to be rich and famous. I'm out to be a problem solver to why the Native and Asian men are always put down. That is a problem in these mainstream award shows. Why are the born and grown Native and American Asian men not promoted and become lead roles, or are? And there were, like I said, there were a period in the United States of America in the film industry and Hollywood where Asian American participation was very high. I mean, everybody remembers Kung Fu. I mean, the martial art culture. So I'm just trying, folks. I can only enjoy creating, songwriting, and sometimes go back then and now. And the song number 5, Amazing Grace, I will not perform it today, but you can go on cdbaby.com/EMEL, my first album, and that's all I can do. So we're almost in an hour in this Friday Reds Facebook Live show. Man, it's gonna be a big file to upload on YouTube, but you're seeing me now live, and I got live interaction. If you have any questions, say hello or something. Oh, I forgot to wear my hat. I played this character called Stanley Kowalski, Stanley Kukunaj. And Stanley, it's in my MRD002 project, and I've been writing that for a lead actress in Hollywood. Her name is Crystal Lightning. She's a Cree Nation woman. And then I have I met other Native actresses like Delana Studi, Donetson Carmelo, Irene Bedard. And so I've written roles for them in this, Georgie Lightning. I've written roles for them, but I still need what you call to rewrite it and improve it. But like anything else, like I said, budget. But once I get budget, I will utilize a lot of Native actors in these web series, and focused on, of course, the Luzon Indios, and the heritage of the Luzon Indios, the ones that wore the white uniform, where the Filipino fashion designers converted it into barong Tagalog. You know, and of course in Mexico, you know, the images of white uniform Anahuac people. It's folklore, cultural image of people wearing a white uniform, like Our Lady of Guadalupe, where Virgin Guadalupe, the Luzon Indio Juan Diego was I don't know if you can see this keychain here, but Juan Diego is underneath the Our Lady of Guadalupe, Virgin Guadalupe, which most Mexican and Catholics appreciate that mural because she's what you call symbolizes the woman of America. All right, we got 6 more minutes to see what we can talk about a little bit more. Yeah, so in my research of writing, you know, as a storyteller and improving the character of Stan the Man, there is this thing called racing extinction. And, you know, the Tesla is here. Elon Musk, you know, the company Tesla was here in this documentary about all these different animals or creatures like frogs and stuff are disappearing. You know, they're going extinct. And the problem is there's too much carbon in the atmosphere, you know, burning off fossil fuels, and it's killing a lot of different animals, and they become extinct. And the ocean waters are becoming acidic, and it's killing the reefs. And so did some research, and how would I put this kind of this problem that's being witnessed by a bunch of scientists, and put it in the webisode as one of the topic to discuss or create. It's a futuristic issue that any time when you know these fossil fuels are and the carbons overrun the oceans, that a lot of creatures will be extinct, and then you know the food supply for man will be extinct, and so man will be go extinct unless you know space travel, find other planets. But humans are destroying itself currently. You know that's the situation. It's 2018, but this documentary was 2010, and I go to the public library all the time to do my research and acquire a DVD. And I've been researching on Tesla, and I probably go in and investigate Tesla, and which I do. I am looking at the Tesla Motor Company, because Elon Musk, the founder of PayPal, you know, he discussed, you know, he created PayPal, and of course he's earning income from there, and uses his residuals or money that he created, and now he invested on creating this motor company Tesla. The founders were the originals were had the great mind, but Elon Musk took his money and invested in it, you know, and then he got the next funding for his startup company, you know, for the Tesla. And now, you know, Tesla 2018, you have now an affordable car for $35,000. You know, before those Tesla early models were unaffordable. You know, they're in the 100,000 range. Now they're like under 35,000. And this is called Model 3, I believe. But I have to go, you know, like maybe apply there and understand Tesla, you know, what they're doing. But the whole model that Elon Musk is doing is this: he's creating a place in Nevada to manufacture these batteries, and also he's putting up all these what you call when your battery goes down, where you're low bat. He's actually doing that. He's like creating recharging stations all over at least right now, all over California and US. So he's trying to save the world, man. I think Tesla can do that and get rid of all this burning of fossil fuel, you know, get rid of the gasolina and just use solar power and alternative energy. Yeah, Amazing Grace. All right, so we're gonna basically end the show. Thank you very much for watching, people. And we're gonna again close with the U.S., the United States preamble we call "We the People," and that preamble is really the framework to make the United States heaven on earth, and hopefully other nations like the Philippines, has this what you call framework of how people should behave. There was a time with the Corazon Aquino, people power. Well, this is that. We the people. Okay, I'm gonna say it now because we've got a few more minutes left. We the people, the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Again, the 26 Amendments, especially the first and second, are very important tools to have. They're equalizers. It improves the U.S. government. And I suggest to the Philippines to go back to the 1920s U.S. Constitution and the Philippine Constitution, 1920s, 1930s. All right. I want to close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, so we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching the Friday Reds weekly show. Aloha, mahalo, salamat, share. Thank you very much. Peace, love, and unity.